Come listen awhile, you gentlemen all, that are this bower within, for a story of gallant bold Robin Hood I purpose now to begin. What time of day? Said Robin Hood then. Said Little John, 'tis in the prime. Why then we will to the greenwood go, for we have no dinner to dine. As Robin Hood walked the forest along, it was in the mid of the day. There he was met of a deft young man as ever walked on the way. His doublet was of silk, 'tis said, his stockings like scarlet shone, and he walked on along the way to Robin Hood then unknown. A herd of deer was in the bend, all feeding before his face. Now the best of you I'll have to my dinner, and that in a little space. Now the stranger he made no mistake, but he bends a good bow and straight, and the best of all the herd he slew, 40 good yards away. Well shot, said Robin Hood then, that shot it was shot in time, and if thou wilt accept of the place, thou shalt be a bold yeoman of mine. Go play your game, the stranger said, make haste and quickly depart, or with my fist be sure of this, I'll give you a good head start. You'd best not do so, said Robin Hood, for though I seem forlorn, yet I have those who will take my part, if I but blow my horn. You'd best not blow it, the stranger said, never be so much in haste, for I can draw out a good broadsword and quickly cut to the chase. Then Robin Hood bent a very good bow to shoot, and he was keen. The stranger he bent a very good bow to shoot at bold Robin again. Hold thy hand, said Robin Hood, to shoot it would be in vain, for if we should shoot the one at the other, the one of us may be slain. But let's take our swords and our broad bucklers, and go under yonder tree. As I hope to be safe, the stranger he said, 1 foot I will not flee. Then Robin Hood lent the stranger a blow, most scared him out of his wit. Thou never felt blow, the stranger he said, that shall be better quit. The stranger he drew out a good broadsword, and hit Robin on the crown, that from every hair of bold Robin's head the blood ran trickling down. God's thanks, good fellow, said Robin Hood then, and for this that thou hast done. Tell me, good fellow, what thou art. Tell me where you come from. The stranger then answered bold Robin Hood, I'll tell thee where I do dwell. In Maxwell town I was bred and born, my name is young Gamwell. For killing of my own father's steward I'm forced to this English wood, and for to seek an uncle of mine, some call him Robin Hood. But art thou a cousin of Robin Hood then? The sooner we should have done. As I hope to be safe, the stranger then said, I am his own sister's son. But Lord, what embracing there was there when these two cousins did greet, and they went all that summer's day, and Little John went to meet. But when they met with Little John, he unto them did say, O master, pray where have you been? You have tarried so long away. I met with a stranger, said Robin Hood. Full sore he hath beaten me, and I'll have a bout with him, said Little John, and try if he can beat me. Oh no, said Robin Hood then, Little John, it may not be so, for he is my own dear sister's son, and cousins I have no more. For he shall be a bold yeoman of mine, my chief man next to thee, and I Robin Hood, and thou Little John, and Scatlock he shall be, and we'll be 3 of the bravest outlaws that live in the north country. Now Robin Hood, Will Scatlock, and Little John are walking over the plain, the good fat stag which Will Scatlock with his strong bow had slain. Jog on, cries Robin Hood, the day it runs full fast. For though my nephew me a breakfast gave, I have not yet broke my fast. Then to yonder lodge let us take our way, I think it wondrous good, where my nephew by my bold yeoman shall be welcomed into the greenwood. With that he took his hunting horn, full well he did it blow. Straight from the woods came marching down 100 tall fellows and more. Stand to your arms, said Will Scatlock, lo, the enemies are within ken. With that Robin Hood he laughed aloud, crying, These are my bold yeomen. Who when they arrived and Robin espied, cried, Master, what is your will? We thought you had in danger been, your horn did sound so shrill. Now nay, said Robin Hood, the danger is past and gone. I would have you welcome my nephew here, that has paid me 2 for 1. In feasting and sporting they passed the day, till Phoebus sank into the deep, and each one to his quarters went, his guard therefore to keep. Not long had they walked within the greenwood, but Robin he soon espied a beautiful damsel all alone, that on a black palfrey did ride. Her riding suit was of sable black, cypress over her face, through which her rose-like cheeks did blush, all with a noble grace. "Come, tell me the cause, thou pretty one," said Robin Hood, "and tell me aright from whence you came, and whither you go, all in this mournful plight." "From London I came," the damsel replied, "from London upon the Thames, which circled is, oh grief to tell, besieged with foreign arms, by the proud Prince of Aragon, who swears by his martial hand to have the princess for his wife, or else to waste this land, except such champions can be found that dare fight 3 to 3 against the prince, and giants twain, most horrid for to see, whose grisly looks and eyes like brands strike terror where they come, with serpents hissing on their helms instead of feathered plume. The princess shall be the victor's prize, the king hath vowed and said, and he that shall the conquest win shall have her to his bride. Now we are 4 damsels sent abroad, to the east, west, north, and south, to try whose fortune is so good, and find these champions out. But all in vain we have sought about, so none so bold there are, that dare adventure life and blood to free a lady fair. When is the day? Said Robin Hood. Tell me this and no more. On midsummer next, the damsel said, which is June the 24. With that the tears trickled down her cheeks, and silent was her tongue. With sighs and sobs she took her leave. Away her palfrey sprung. The news struck Robin to the heart. He fell down on the grass. His actions and his troubled mind showed how perplexed he was. Where lies your grief? Said Will Scadlock. O master, tell me true. If the damsel's eyes have pierced your heart, I'll fetch her back to you. Now nay, said Robin Hood. She doth not cause my smart, but 'tis the poor distressed princess that wounds me to the heart. I'll fight the prince and giants all to set the lady free. Devil take my soul, said Little John, if I part with thy company. Must I stay behind? Said Will Scadlock. No, that must not be. I'll make the third man in the fight, so we shall be 3 to 3. These words cheered Robin to the heart. Joy shone within his face. Within his arms he hugged them both, and kindly did embrace. Said he, we'll put on garments grey, and long staves in our hand, a bag and bottle by our sides, as if come from the Holy Land. So may we pass along the highway, none will ask from whence we came, but take us pilgrims for to be, or else some holy men. Now they are on their journey gone as fast as they may speed, yet for all their haste, when they arrived, the princess forth was led, to be delivered to the prince, who in the list did stand, prepared to fight, or else receive his lady by the hand. With that he walked about the lists, with giants by his side. Bring forth, said he, your champions, or bring me forth my bride. This is the 24th day, the day we fixed upon. Bring forth my bride, or London burns, I swear by Acheron. Then cries the king and queen likewise, both weeping as they spake. Here we have brought our daughter dear, whom we are forced to forsake. With that stepped out bold Robin Hood, cries, my liege, it may not be said, such beauty as the fair princess is not for a tyrant's hand. The prince he then began to storm, cries, fool, fanatic, baboon, how dare thou stop my valour's prize? I'll kill thee with a frown. Thou tyrant Turk, thou infidel, thus Robin began to reply, thy frowns I scorn, though here's my challenge, and thus I thee defy. For those 2 Goliaths there that stand on either side, here are 2 little Davids by that soon can tame their pride. Then the king did for armour send, for lances, swords, and shields, and thus all 3 in armour bright came marching to the field. The trumpets began to sound a charge, each singled out his man. Their arms in pieces soon were chopped, blood sprang from every vein. The prince he reached Robin Hood a blow he struck with strength and aim, which forced him to reel about the field as though he had been slain. God be thanked, said Robin, for that blow. The quarrel shall soon be tried. This stroke shall show a full divorce betwixt thee and thy bride. So from his shoulders he cut his head, which on the ground did fall, and grumbling sore at Robin Hood to be so dealt withal. The giants then began to rage to see their prince lie dead. You'll be the next, quoth Little John, unless thou guard thy head. With that his weapon he whirled about, it was both keen and sharp. He sliced the giant to the belt, and cut in twain his heart. Will Scatlock well had played his part, the giant he had brought to his knee. Said Will, the devil cannot break his fast, unless ye have all three. So with his weapon he ran him through a deep and ghastly wound, who damned and foamed, cursed and blasphemed, and then fell to the ground. Now all the lists with shouts were filled, the skies they did resound, which brought the princess to herself, who had fallen in a swoon. The king and queen and princess fair came walking to the place, and gave the champions many thanks, and did them further grace. Tell me, said the king, whence you are, that thus disguised came, whose valour speaks that noble blood doth run through every vein. A favour, said Robin Hood, on my knees I beg and crave. By my crown, said the king, I'll grant. Ask what, and thou shalt have. Then pardon I beg for my merry men, which are in the greenwood, for Little John and Will Scadlock, and for me, bold Robin Hood. Art thou Robin Hood? Said the king, for the valour thou hast shown. Your pardons I do freely grant, and welcome every one. The princess I promise the victor's prize. She cannot have you all three. She shall choose, said Robin. Said Little John, then little share falls to me. Then did the princess view all three with a noble, gentle grace, and took Will Scatlock by the hand, saying, Here I make my choice. With that a noble lord stepped forth, of Maxfield. Earl was he, who looked Will Scatlock in the face, and wept most bitterly. Said he, I had a son like you, whom I loved wondrous well, but he is gone, or rather dead. His name it is young Gamwell. Then did Will Scatlock fall on his knees, cries, Father, father, here kneels your son, your young Gamwell, who said you loved so dear. But Lord, and what embracing was there, when all these friends were met. They are gone to the wedding, and so to the bedding, and so I bid thee good night.